I'm a physicist by background, so I've been with WISE, the Women in Science and Engineering campaign, I've been with the Athena Swan scheme, and basically anything that involves getting girls into science, I tend to be there.
So I think that we are now starting to take the issue of women in STEM seriously, but with all these campaigns, why is there still such a big gap?
If you look at STEM subjects in total, women outnumber men in STEM subjects in total, and women outperform men in every STEM subject at all levels, including degree level. The issue is physics. The numbers in A-level have not changed in 35 years. It's 20% stubbornly, and because physics feeds into so many other subjects, including cybersecurity as a good background, that's where the barrier starts. Interestingly, not mathematics. Mathematics is now over 40% female at A-level and degree level and rising. So it isn't the mathematical side, it's physics. I mean, are you surprised at the fact that girls outnumber boys in science generally?
Not at kind of earlier ages, but I think when you start getting to postgraduate level and teaching, and you know, that's where we're starting to see the numbers of females dwindle.
Oh, that's a different issue again.
So that was going to be my question. What about masters and PhD? And from then on, it seems like the number of ladies in those areas at those levels are significantly lower than the men's.
So it varies from subject to subject. If we look at chemistry, which is 50-50 at undergraduate level, the numbers decline enormously after PhD. If you look at physics as a direct comparator, it's 20% at undergraduate level, it's 20% and plus at PhD level. So actually, we're bad in physics at getting them in, we're actually good at retaining. Chemistry, really good at getting them in, not so good at retaining. And you have to look at the whole system to be able to work out what will work in one area and what doesn't work in another.
Why do you think so many more women drop out in some subjects as as their career goes on, rather than the men that seem to stay in academia a bit longer?
All right, very complex answer to that one. But broadly, the women have higher expectations of the quality of life. It isn't as simplistic as the STEM departments really have an appalling environment and the women are moving out of them. Actually, there are problems in all departments and in all businesses, and the issue is women are not getting to the top in anything. It is not peculiar to academia. It also works in law, it works in business, it works in the police force. There is something about the culture that means women say, I'm fed up, I'm not doing this. And work-life balance is part of that consideration.
Have you experienced very different atmospheres in different disciplines?
I led the national initiative to see whether we could apply Athena Swan approaches to the arts, humanities and social sciences, with the great expectation the problem was not as acute, and yet it is. And the fact that their numbers of professors, the proportion of women at the professorial level, is as low as it is in physics, hadn't occurred to them.
So I was really shocked when I came here and I found out there were 50-50 undergrad and maths degree, because in my maths degree it was 20%, so which is huge gap. So I was just wondering, do you think that's to do with what the universities are doing, or just women are choosing not to go to some universities and to go to other universities?
Well, again, I think the women are choosing because they want to go to an environment where they feel they belong, whether it's choosing a university or applying for a PhD or applying for a post or applying for a promotion. Women have this need, on average, and I'm generalising here, but this is what the psychology tells us, to feel that they will fit in where they will be, that they will belong. The phrase that they use is the belongingness. The sense for men is less acute. They don't have a sense of needing to belong. They just believe they will. So they don't cut themselves out of jobs in the same way as women will. The research again is clear. It is not to do with their sense of whether they can do the job. They believe they can do the job, but they just don't like the sense of culture or the environment.
Will positive role models help there?
Only if the positive role models talk in terms of those issues. It is a supportive environment. We do work in a very collaborative, supportive, team-based way. Then those sorts of messages will then enable a woman to say, well, yes, then I feel I will belong.
What kind of advice could you give ladies at our level that are doing a PhD going forwards?
Choose your employer carefully. And I can speak from personal experience here. I was at Reading when my daughters were very small. And there was none of this, oh, you're only part-time, you can't increase your hours. And it was through that support, I now know in retrospect, that I was then in a position to take the advantage of the opportunities offered to me. I know in other places it's as well, you've gone part-time, that's it, you're stuck at part-time, you can't apply for promotion when you're part-time.
I see a lot of female-led initiatives. How important is it to have the support of men?
Absolutely essential, otherwise it's a women's problem. And the most important issue is the head of department. If the head of department is supportive, then that peters through all of the different layers and things happen.
I was really interested in what you were saying about the 20% in physics, because we looked at our student numbers over many years, and our rate is pretty much flat at 20%. And I can say as head of department, I'm committed to try and get more of those quality female students here, and I'm supportive. I wanted you to come and tell us about your experiences. I wanted the wisdom group to exist. I'd like some practical things that we can do.
I think that if you look at the women who are currently undergraduates who might become your postgraduates, they are being poached by Barclays, Ernst & Young, all of the big finance houses, management organisations, consultancies. These are the places that are offering internships to young women in all of the STEM subjects because they know they are smart cookies. So if you're really going to break that, you've got to start poaching them back. So she's immediately seduced to believe the business world has so much more to offer than the MScs or the PhDs that are being offered in universities, because you hardly hear of the opportunities. So one is you need to have a campaign of making sure the potential postgraduate students that you're looking for get invited to meet you, to undertake activities with you, and be aware that they're looking for personal invitations. If you say to a group, mixed group, this is an opportunity available to you, typically the guys will believe you're speaking to each one of them individually, the women will assume you're speaking to somebody else.
It had never occurred to me really to do like a program of events for people that are studying other subjects. So it could be actually the wisdom group or whatever. We offer some events throughout the year, just invite people along doing other things.
Well, what you have to remember is most science departments have a women in science undergraduate group of some sort. You could be part of their program. Whereas at the moment, if they've never heard of you, how do they know they want to be part of it?
What do we do for the women that are already there?
Well, that's where Athena Swan comes in. And Athena Swan is about culture change. It isn't about tick boxes. If you take it seriously, if you really want to do it properly, it is culture change.